Are you okay? Yes. All right.
My name's Steve Marshall, and I'm a magician.
The rings were linked together, and they would never, ever come.
So I was born here in Holland, Michigan, but when we were 3 years old, my parents moved to Florida, so I had to go with them because I was only 3.
Everybody pumped their fist in the air and said, and that's when all the cards disappeared, and that was the very first magic trick I ever did. Thank you.
Magic started as being a thing that really broke me out of my shell. I was 8 years old, and I got a magic kit for Christmas. And by the time I was in junior high school, I was doing kids' birthday parties and making money.
Go! It's a snake. Thank you. Sorry. How about 2 snakes? There you go. Okay.
By the time I was in high school, I was pretty much working every weekend doing shows. Then I went on the road with the circus, with the Ringling Brothers Circus for years, and wound up traveling the world, doing my magic show, living in Japan.
When the audience breaks into wild applause.
Just last March, I came back to Holland to do a TEDx talk here, and then I did a show in the parlor here at the Felt Mansion.
That's when I would take the rope and make it one rope, and that's the magic rope trick.
There's so many things happening here, I just can't believe it. So I fell in love with the city, I fell in love with the Felt Mansion and performing here. And so I just, as soon as I got back to Japan, I thought of a way that I could get back as soon as possible. So a few months later, here I am.
I want you to make sure there's no way I can get these ropes, I can't slip them off my wrist.
One thing that I've always been really interested in are the old ghost shows that were done in the 1950s. I started reading about the spiritualist movement that started in the mid-1800s. There were these 3 sisters called the Fox Sisters that would produce mysterious rapping noises from around their cabin. And then the whole medium movement, the spiritualist movement. And of course, a lot of that, they were magicians. They were using tricks that a magician would use. Now I think it's really cool that I can use the same tricks and the same techniques and make it a form of entertainment. And when they would separate the slates, they would get, it's Halloween, right? So yeah, our goal is to give people a scary experience. My opening act is the Felt Mansion with all the lights off. I mean, what could be better than that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The incredible 9-dice stack. I've been a fan of Penn & Teller for many years. So to be on their stage with them as close as you are to me right now, watching me perform, it was a bit nerve-wracking, I gotta admit. But it was wonderful. It was just like a full circle moment to be able to go and do that. And also be able to do a routine that was taught to me by this man in Florida who, unfortunately, he passed away just a week before I was on the show. So it became a memorial to show honor to him. I got to call him and tell him I'd be on the show doing his act before he passed away. And so that meant everything to me. My normal is different than other people's normal, is what I found out when I start talking about things like being at a party and just starting talking about my times that I was a fire eater. It's normal for my kids to come home and see, one time they walked in and my wife was floating in the living room. I was practicing a levitation trick, and that's just normal. I come and ask my kids a lot of times to, help me practice a routine and stuff like that, and they are my first audience. Whenever I have a new routine, they're the first ones to see it. And they're very brutal, and I've taught them to be that way.
I'm going to attempt to escape from this rope in 3 seconds, okay? In 3 seconds, just 3 seconds, all it takes, here, look that way, all right, good, all right. I'm going to attempt to escape from this rope in 3 seconds.
That's the hardest thing for an artist or an entertainer, to find a place that you feel safe trying something new, and it might work, it might not, but you still feel safe going there and doing that. And I really, really feel that in this community.
And that's my show. My name's Steve Marshall. Thank you so much for coming out this morning.